Susie?
I also got that's what I hit whenever I make some money.
And
yeah.
Shine a light on it. I think it's time for us to try this week's contestant on the theme show song. Are we ready?
Go!
Got this little funk beat going on. There we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Lage and Young Show. I'm John Young, and this is my good friend, DJ Bill Lage. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening. What's up?
Oh, it's another beautiful day here in Minnesota. Things are awesome. Things are, thinking about blooming. Things are thinking about... Life is good.
It's very good. Very good.
And tonight, we want to dig into the meat of life if you're a teenager, which is...
I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, wait.
I'm not.
The sustenance of life if you're a vegetarian. Don't look at that cheeseburger over his shoulder there, ladies and gentlemen. Social media. We want to dig into that a little bit because one of the things as DJs, Bill, that a lot of guys who are getting to be way older than us, like the guys in their 40s, they're struggling a little bit with understanding where the next generation. They're way older than us. Yeah.
All right.
Way over because they're like 40 something. Is struggling to understand this generation and their concept of how they use social media.
Sure.
Because, we never grew up with that. We grew up with like watching cartoons on a Saturday morning and I'm not sure exactly if you had it, but I mean, Sunday mornings, it was either going to church or watch wrestling on TV. And, those were big things in life.
Hulkamania was running wild, if you will.
It was. Actually, if you were from the upper Midwest, it was Vern Gagne's AWA that was...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
Yeah, I've heard, because, again, I'm not that old. But
Denial. All right.
Okay, so let's talk social media. One of course, the platforms that we all know and abuse is our good friend Facebook.
Yes.
A few years ago, Bill, it was the word is getting out. For those of us who were just getting into it in marketing, they were saying that teens were abandoning Facebook. I'm sure you've heard that.
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts on that? Kind of relating to what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what you're reading out there.
Facebook is right now the juggernaut, just like YouTube is the juggernaut for videos. Facebook is the king daddy of social media. I have one rule of thumb, and whether kids are on the social media or not, social media is meant for you to be social. People say, I need to be on Facebook. I need to have a business page. Yeah, you do, but you also need to post in the dang thing.
Yeah.
You also need to give content. Without the content, why even be on social media? Now, as far as your question, John, with the kids, there's going to be some people who don't. There'll be some people who just stick on their mobile phones and just focus on things like Twitter or things like anything else that's coming out. But there will be people who are on Facebook. In fact, my son turned 13 last year. First thing he did, the next day, he was on Facebook. I said, great, now I got to watch what I say on Facebook because my son's watching me.
Yeah.
So the kids are still going to be doing it, especially if they're young. They want to be there because they've heard moms and dads and their older brothers and sisters. They're on Facebook. And their friends are on Facebook. So they still want to be social. So there's still a desire for them to be on. Now, will they be active? Will they be a buying power? Probably not. They'll have the same disposable income, the same short attention span that they do in real life on social media. So you just got to be aware of that. Now, is Facebook dying? No, they're coming up with new things. And again, they're really awesome on the mobile. And I know for myself, I use the Messenger app now to even communicate with brides. I'm booking shows via Facebook all the time. And it's all part of my branding, all part about me being DJ Bill. Half my struggle is now keeping track of if it's coming from my page or coming from my personal profile.
For sure.
Or coming from my website. It's too many channels, and trying to organize it to focus on just one is definitely a struggle. But yeah, social media is meant to be social. And if you use it and are being social, you're going to have results as far as even disc jockeying or DJing.
Yeah, I think that you're definitely right with that, and I think what a person really sees, especially with the younger people, and I'm gonna put younger from say 16 to about 22, and that's really the age in which we as DJs are wanting to target. I think what you really lose in that age group is probably more of the male. You're probably going to lose. I would go as far as to say you're going to lose 2 guys for every one gal in that age group that steps away from a period of time, because the guys are not for whatever reason, they're too cool for it. They want to go check out something else, whatever. And of course, as DJs, am I going to spend my marketing money towards reaching a potential bride, or am I going to try to reach a potential groom? Well, as we all know, generally it's the gals who are the ones, the driving force behind the decisions.
Right.
So,
definitely.
So it really, I don't think it really affects us too much in that world. That really kind of an interesting trend, and I've actually witnessed this with some of the teens that I've worked with through different groups and such, where I connected with them when they were in their 13 and 14, and they got their page, and then they kind of drifted apart. And now they're getting into that 21, 22, and you start to see them coming back because they're seeing the value of Facebook as a way to connect with their friends and their family that they can't do in these other, do I go as far as saying obscure social media platforms? That they're basically out there all on their own. And I think that you're going to see that kind of evolution where they're going to go and it's like anything else. They step away for a while and then they come back.
What I think, and this is just my opinion, it's kind of the whole idea of the bar or nightclub owner. Why do they have ladies' night? Not for the ladies, to get girls there so the boys will come.
Yes.
So if ladies are on the social media, the guys are not too far behind. So I agree with what you said. However, I believe that if the ladies are there, the guys, especially when they start getting into their 16 and their teens, they're going to be wherever the females are. That's my opinion.
Very good point. Very good point. So let's just kind of talk about a few of the other social media avenues that are out there, and some we know a little bit about, some we've heard of and we haven't really gotten into. And if we hit on some and we're a little sketchy on those, we're not going to fake it. We'll be very honest with you, tell you what we do know about it. But there's going to be some that maybe you viewers out there know more of, and we'd love to hear your stories. Put those in the comments down below. If you use those and you have some success with that, I'd love to have you comment down there, share your thoughts with us, because you know what? This is a learning thing. We learn from you. You learn maybe from us if we're fortunate and can share that. But really, it's something that we learn 10 times more getting feedback and such from everyone out there, and we appreciate you watching. So let's start with Facebook's boring cousin, Twitter.
Do you know why it's boring? Because Facebook is more than just updates. It's more than just it's basically you can do photo sharing. You can do video sharing and stuff like that. Now, Twitter is trying to keep up.
Yep.
Twitter is trying to add where now you can do the videos and now you can do the pictures, and it's a lot more than it used to be.
Yes.
In fact, I like Twitter for what it is, and I like it more for very basic updates, status updates. The 140 character limit is cool, but it's more for basic communication. I like it more for the fun, like tweet back or at me, or like the hashtags. I love those kind of things. I think as far as a business idea, have a hashtag. In fact, I'm at DJ Bill as my name, and I also use hashtag DJ Bill.
Sure.
And so there's a lot more famous DJ Bills out in the world. Trust me. And I get a lot of their tweets when people are trying to tweet at them.
Uh-huh.
They're hitting my at DJ Bill, and I kind of giggle, going, "Wow, that totally wasn't for me, but I'll take it." So it's kind of entertaining. That's Twitter, though. I think the thing that I'm more interested in right now as far as social is Instagram, which the big brother Facebook owns Instagram. And so it's a lot, you can see a lot of similarities, but that's all based on hashtags and pictures. It's all about the pictures.
Yes.
And I think Instagram is where a lot of the kids, like we were talking about earlier, I think they're going more to Instagram because it's all about the image. It's all about the picture. It's all about the selfie. It's all about me, my world, and let me show you what I want to show you.
For sure.
So I think Instagram is where a lot of them took off from Facebook and went to. And I think that they're all enjoying that world. And I think that's a place where as DJs, we need to start tapping into that because Instagram will give us traffic to our websites, traffic to any other social media platforms, or hopefully eventually leads. So.
I would agree, and I think Instagram is it's kind of an interesting dynamic because Instagram has its world, and when you connect your Instagram account with your Facebook account, it's interesting that initially it would have that, and what would happen is you could have Instagram push the picture over to your Facebook, in our case, page, and it wouldn't receive a ton of love. Once Facebook bought Instagram, now that is it's almost better to take a picture in Instagram and have it pushed to Facebook than it was to actually take it and automatically paste it or put it into Facebook or straight away, which is really kind of interesting how Facebook has their preferred methods of operation when it comes to media and content that way. So
the thing with social media is it's always changing, and it's tough. Like, for the last thing I want to do is worry about if Facebook's algorithm changed, or even if we go to a different level, Google and their SEO algorithm. I want to be ranked. I want to be ranked for awesome DJ, and I can do that. But again, it's tough.
Yeah.
So with all the changes, I could be number one today. Tomorrow I could be not even on the first 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
So it's always good about content. It's all about content, keeping it fresh, and trying not to game the system. I've seen it for years, people stuffing their web pages with keywords or even some of their posts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm even guilty of doing it with hashtags nowadays, trying to get a broad spectrum, so I have like 10 hashtags. And you know what? The bride who's looking for me to DJ their wedding is going to look at that post and go, what the heck are they doing with all those hashtags? And they're going to be so annoyed because they're more savvy than us old DJs. And they're just not going to be interested. They're going to say, this guy's trying too hard and I'm not interested. And he's like, it's almost like spam. So again, content, know what you're posting, keep it real, keep it legit. And like I said, that you're going to get the business. Mm-hmm. Another thing, and I don't know why I'm going to tell you this, but this is one of the things I do.
Yep.
Facebook has this thing where they talk about relationships. It has it where I'm engaged and stuff like that. And if they're my friends, I always say, congratulations. By the way, I know a wonderful wedding disc jockey. And I think it's kind of cheesy. And it's kind of cheesy on purpose. But at the end of the day, I'm putting that in there so it's in their mind. And when they start thinking, oh, I need a disc jockey, they're going to call me. And I've gotten bookings upon bookings from doing that. In fact, I do it so often when I see that, that actually the other day I got tagged in a post. What's this about? Well, you're a disc jockey, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am. And they knew that because they've seen me talk about it and being social and saying, I'm a disc jockey. Now, on my personal, and this is going to be a whole other stroll if you want, John, but on my personal page, I talk about my life, taking my kids to the Harlem Globetrotters, having my daughter kick my butt in Monopoly, watching my son dress up in a suit and looking awesome. Yeah. I mean, these are things I talk about on my personal. But I also sprinkle in, I'm going out this weekend to DJ, wish me luck. Or if you get a chance, come out and see me at this awesome public event that I'm doing, if I'm doing a public event. But on my disc jockey page, it's a little bit the opposite. I'm talking more heavily disc jockey. DJ Bill is out this weekend, be sure to make sure if you see him on the road, wave or throw eggs. Or then every once in a while I'll say, by the way, my daughter just did this cool Megan rap about her name, and then I post that. So it's more like the 80-20 rule, 80% disc jockey, 20 about personal on my business page, and it's the opposite, 80 about my personal life, and then 20 about my business professional life.
Sure, and you've got to have
that's kind of how I look at it.
And you've got to have that balance, especially you want to have a little bit, but you can't go overwhelming the opposite wrong direction. I think is the best way to describe it. So, cool. Let's keep working our way through. A couple of others that are more mainstream, and then we'll touch a couple that are kind of newer that people should keep an eye out for because I think they're really going to become players at a level. But let's jump Tumblr. Tumblr is actually has been one that we've been starting to implement more content to, and it's been kind of an interesting transition. Is that a good way to describe it? Maybe an evolution of Tumblr and what we're seeing with an audience. Learning curve. Last year in January of 2014, we went to a very large social media convention, and they had really predicted that Tumblr was going to was one of the up and coming social media platforms. I don't know how much I would really go with that, but yet in that arena, I am seeing some traffic, and I am seeing some movement on that. Have you played with Tumblr much, Bill?
That's one of the ones that I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I focus a majority of my marketing on Facebook. I automate a lot of my Twitter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do many live updates. Most of it's my Facebook feed. Just go on Twitter.
Yep.
Instagram. I do YouTube, and rarely. That's about it. Those are the four main ones that I focus on. I consider YouTube a social media just like everything else. Tumblr, I don't know much about. LinkedIn, I think is more for business professionals,
Yep.
although there is something to be said for trying to get involved on LinkedIn and maybe attracting those type of people for wedding clients.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely business there too.
Oh yeah, some people.
You can't do it all. You need to pick your battles and your marketing and your efforts.
Yeah, I think with some effort invested into Tumblr, it could become a decent resource.
Right.
It's never going to be right. I shouldn't say it isn't Facebook reach by any means,
Sure.
but I think it has potential. One as you were just going through, one that you used and you failed to mention, not to you, is Vine, which is Vine. Vine is actually
Yes.
now. I'm going to put
Vine.
Vine into an basically straight entertainment category because it's such a limited, I think, business potential right now.
Yeah.
And it's maybe
I love Vine. I use it personally.
Yeah.
And in fact, speaking about my daughter again, we that's what we do for entertainment. Her and I make Vines. In fact, if you go to my Vine, it's DJ Bill Lage. I think there's one of her doing her best Darth Vader impersonation, saying, what does she say? Your lack of faith is disturbing.
There we go.
It
Yes.
just throws me through the wall. It's really funny. And so that was my attempt to, we just have fun doing it. And a lot of fun little theme songs like you saw last episode and such. But
Yeah.
I like Vine. Now, from a marketing standpoint, the 6-second video idea is huge. In fact, I would want, and I haven't started this yet, and this is probably something I will eventually do, but I want to start doing more Vines of shows. 6 seconds of video is wonderful. And you can do those little snippets, and you can get them posted. And I'd love to get video testimonies.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, with your phone, get out a Vine and say, hey, what do you think of DJ Bill? Ah, done.
Yeah.
Video done. Post it. Do it live from your cell phone if it's an event that you can do it from. Maybe not a wedding. But again, depending on your style and who you are, Vine can be very interactive and on demand. And that's what the society is going for. That's what social media is so addictive, is because it's on demand. It's right now. I can go and watch right now. If I'm watching, like, say, a sporting event, people are yelling, yay, they scored a touchdown, or yay, they scored I can watch that. I can literally be watching the game without being at the game or watching the game because of my friends reacting to a team that I like as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just incredible the way the world has shifted that way. So that's a neat idea with Vine. I guess I hadn't really thought about it from that perspective. That's a cool idea. Neat.
I'm here to help you, John.
Thank you.
This is our weekly therapy.
Thank you.
Whatever I can do to help. My goal is to make you more money. That's all it is.
That's what it's all about, man. I appreciate it, man. Get up the moment down.
Sharing contest, go.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. Okay, so
I win.
okay, similar to Vine. Yeah, maybe not quite, but and this one's really popular, and I think this one's actually popular all the way down through younger kids. And I'm talking Snapchat.
Yes.
Snapchat has gotten demonized, I'm going to say, in many
little bit.
many areas.
It's been misused.
Yeah. Now, I'm not overly familiar with it. What I have experienced with this one, and I don't even know if my boys have Snapchat, but I've watched kids at my children's school, and there's 4th, 5th graders who are using it, and they're sending each other little messages saying, "Hey, where are you?" "Oh, I'm here." And that's what it's just like this thing going back and forth, and Snapchat me back. Obviously,
I know nothing about Snapchat, so I'm not going to help much. I know that I have downloaded it, but I've never used it. And I know, like, one of my good friends, Mr. Jeremy Lanby of Minnesota disc jockey fame, insert applause track here. He uses it. In fact, he sent me a few Snapchats. He's like one of my only friends on Snapchat, and it was not pretty. That's all I'm going to say. No, actually, it was fine. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the need for it. But yeah, the kids, again, it's that whole idea of, I think it's temporary, right? Snapchat, it's like a picture and it like goes away. you know what? I'll tell you this: nothing is temporary on the internet, and I would not ever feel safe doing those things. But if you keep it fun and free and just mess around, as long as you're having fun, I mean, Snapchat is what it is. I don't see a marketing value to it.
Yeah, I haven't really come up to that. A few people have talked about some, and Jeremy's one who's really trying to figure out the angle because that's where the kids are. And sometimes you just get to a point where you have to say, you know what, it's just not worth. We're gonna just let this fad pass and get back to where we can be successful. So,
speaking of where the kids are, I do have one little case study. I would say. Every year I do this thing called Catholic Prom, where basically I invite a bunch of Catholic churches in the Twin Cities, all their teens to come and have a prom event at a location in the Twin Cities. The thing with Catholic Prom is that I don't do much advertising.
Yes.
And what I do is I started a Facebook page, and I basically started an email list. Every year I've done it, I've gotten their emails. And so I've been trying to grow it through Facebook. And we have a photographer there, they take the pictures, and we basically only do it Facebook advertising. And so word of mouth and Facebook advertising. The first year I did it, 25 people showed up. 6 years later, 150 people showed up. Nice. And every year we've had a little bit of an increase. And so we're doing it again this year. And this year, actually, I'm having 2 of them because the date I took, I got a lot of people going, oh, I can't go. It's the date. I'm got my other prom and I'm busy. I'm washing my hair. Whatever they're saying. So I'm going to have 2 of them, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm hoping that not only people will go to one or the other, but I think there's going to be some people who actually go to both. And so we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
And again, all my thing is I'm trying to reach the kids where they're at, and I'm still hoping they're still on Facebook because that's where I'm doing my advertising, and who knows, right?
Yeah. And according to even with our the Disc Jockey News Facebook page, we're still seeing that they are there. It's just interesting that they're not engaging at the same level that different age groups are, but that's for another show.
And they are there, and kind of the thing that I've noticed on all my different pages, they're there via mobile more than they are the PC.
Exactly.
And I think that's, we got to start targeting even like DJ pages and social. We got to be mobile friendly. If you're not, man, you're missing out.
Oh, by far.
That's where they are, and that kind of shocked me. And I've been doing IT and social and websites for years. But it's the mobile thing is where it's at. It's all mobile nowadays.
Yeah, very much so. It used to, I think last year we looked at some numbers in early 2014. We had about a 60-40, 60% were using desktop, and it was 40% mobile at that time. This past January, when we looked at where the trend was, it was 70-30. 70% are mobile, 30% are desktop.
Yeah, so, I just did a mobile ad where I spent basically about $300 for about a week. And I looked at where the traffic came from. It was 80-20, 80 on mobile, 20 on desktop. And I was like, wow. Yeah. And that kind of blew my mind because it was just basically, it was a random people. It was just, I was focused on the Twin Cities itself. And to see 80% of them seeing it on mobile devices versus a desktop computer. Wow, that was just, it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, wow, good stuff. Okay, well, there's Pinterest, and a lot of you have talked about Pinterest and the appeal. We're not going to dive into that one too terribly much because, well...
Yes, because John, we have no interest in Pinterest.
Exactly, because Pinterest is for a lot of you, is more of a predominantly female chat board, and I don't know enough about it to really be giving it the proper wherewithal. I know there's some guys out there who are using it for their DJ business, males who are using it, and they've used it wonderfully, sharing beautiful pictures from weddings, and they've done very, very well with it. We're just not the experts enough to even really give it a fair shake, and I think that there's a lot of potential.
What you said is true. If that's where the females are, and it depends on your marketing, that's a great way to attract that client. And it's good to know that Pinterest is predominantly, I don't know what they are, but because I don't look at those stats, but I know that females like Pinterest way more than guys.
Sure.
And I've tried to get into it, and it's not for me. So it's one of those things where I think if you're targeting females, especially brides, it's a good place to be for your company.
I think so. Let's hit 2 more. I've got 2 more I want to hit, and then we'll wrap things up. These are 2 that I've just found out about fairly recently. And one, thanks to Jeremy Breck, who brought this one to my attention. And the other one was actually one that my kids were talking about coming home from school. So let's look at the ones with the kids. We're looking at an app called, I believe it was called Kik, K-I-K. And it seems that this app is very similar to a Snapchat, kind of a cross between Snapchat and Twitter, with a little Facebook shaken in there, kind of a thing. The interesting part about it is that some of the kids, and I think there must be some parents are more comfortable with their kids using Kik than using Facebook and some of the others. And I'm wondering if there's some different levels of security in that. And I haven't looked at it that much. The big thing I did hear from that is that kids are using it, and my 18-year-old said it sucks because it crashes a lot.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
So that sounds really great, but there's obviously an interest to it because several young ladies are using it, and they can share pictures and send. Basically, it's like an instant messaging to your little group. I think it's very much like a group Snapchat, but it doesn't have that time limit. But the one I wanted to hit as our final one is one that Jeremy Bruck brought up, and this is kind of a cool one. It's called Yik Yak, YIKYAK. What this little app is it allows you to anonymously connect with anyone else who has that app within a region or an area. So let's say that Bill and I were at an event. Let's go to just a random concert. Let's go to a Toby Mac concert.
Hi, we're at a Toby Mac concert.
And you're at one end and I'm at the other because, well, we were too cheap to buy seats together.
We are.
We could have Yik Yak on our phones and we could be messaging anonymously back and forth, and all 20,000 of our friends who are with Toby Mac who had the same app would be able to see what we were saying, and we would be able to see what they were saying. So it's like this. It's basically, we'll call it like a bathroom wall. That's this ongoing conversation, and again, it's all anonymous, so you don't know who's saying what, but you're able to have this conversation. I really think this one's going to be kind of a cool one that people are going to be getting into, because when you're having that experience, that room-filling experience, we're going to be able to share. And I think that, as you're kind of talking a little earlier, Bill, I think that's something that we need to grasp, is that social media is all about that sharing. And
it is.
Anything that makes it easier to share, and easier to share what's on my mind at this very second, has potential with that younger generation.
It does, and it's that short attention span idea. It's the idea of they want the instance. They want it to be instant. That's instant gratification society.
Yeah.
And I think like that scenario that you said at a concert, I see that being huge. Because then you get a bunch of raving fans for a certain artist or something saying something. I mean, we could do something like that even at a Lage and Young show, because we'll have thousands of people there.
Oh, exactly.
And so we can say, hey, your Yik Yak can start talking, or we could do something like that. Mm-hmm. But again, the idea behind it is connecting.
Yeah.
It's about connecting and common interests. I mean, Facebook does that through, what pages do you like and what things do you like or where are you from? That's how they connect people. But this would be actually a point in time, a live, on-demand, or an event that's happening right now, and then it's based on global proximity.
Yeah,
so I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really kind of clever. So I think that's one I want to dig into a little bit more, but that means I've got to have friends around that I can Yik Yak with.
There's no one in Grey Eagle though. Sorry.
Not really, not so much.
Population 0. Wait, 1.
There's a couple of people, but they're probably my family and my children.
And now Grey Eagle hates me, so I'll never be there again. Sorry.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, we didn't dig into any of the social medias, but anything you've got to say, put it in the comments right down below. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate your comments. If you like what you see, please share it with your friends. If you don't like what you see, share it with your family, please. They will appreciate it, and if they don't, well, they probably weren't that good of family members to you anyway.
Sharing is caring.
It is caring. And if it's not, it's punishing. We'll take either one. We're okay with that.
Awesome.
Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I am John Young with the Disc Jockey News, Disc Jockey News TV. This is Bill Lage from DJBillLage.com. Good night.
Awesome.